So, of all the situations in the NFL, like if you said, all right, BT, write down 5 teams that you could never see leaving their current destination. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, I'd have more than 5 for full disclosure, but 5 that would immediately come to mind. One would be your Giants.
Giants, there's no chance
no doubt.
they're
Giants.
ever going anywhere.
Yep.
Cowboys.
I'd like to say my Jets, but you never know. I'm not gonna. You never know. But I'd say your Giants over my Jets.
I mean, they already moved from Hempstead to Florham Park, New Jersey.
Yeah, I hear you. Stop rubbing things in. All right, whatever. You guys used to play the Polo Grounds. You guys moved too, so relax. Back in the day. The Dallas Cowboys for sure.
Yep. So Giants, Cowboys.
49ers, especially now that the Raiders have left the state of California. Obviously, they've got Northern California all to themselves. Great history. Tink, the Bills are on my short list.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of any other ones that would they're just concrete where they are.
I could see Miami.
Green Bay. Green Bay's concrete where
Chicago.
They are. Chicago is.
Although they want to move 40 miles out of where they are.
True.
But I mean, within the city limits, the same spiel.
Like bounce to a different world.
Yeah. I couldn't see that for the Bears at all.
No.
Maybe,
so those 5.
There's a lot. I mean, I could see the Lions for always staying and losing. Sorry, in Detroit. But I know you love Campbell, and I'm rooting for him as well. Point being, the Bills are just synonymous with Western New York and cold,
You're right.
Hardcore tailgating and incredibly resilient fans, and now winning football again, and now the threat. Let's face it.
Yeah.
That's like, your girlfriend getting threatened by the model who's a 10 who walks by. Austin's a pretty good option.
It is.
I mean, I'd be a little worried, I guess.
Let's keep this in context, though. This is a report from Pro Football Talk that basically is saying because the Bills are renegotiating, they're trying to negotiate a deal to get fully taxpayer-funded,
correct,
new facility, stadium, etc. That because they are negotiating that, it could operative word being could get contentious. And then if it does get contentious, it could. And then if it could get contentious, if it does, then a possible destination is Austin.
Well, but real quick, anytime you have taxpayers on the hook for anything, the chance of it getting contentious is quite high.
I don't
that's not an incredible leap of faith.
Especially when your owners, the Pagulas, who have been great and fantastic, are billionaires.
Correct. Correct.
It's like, why are you putting it all on us?
But hard-working city.
That's right.
Blue collar for the most part.
And so just before we get into this conversation, just realize this is all speculative. This is Florio speculating on speculation.
He's not the only one, though.
I know he's not, but I'm just saying it's speculation on speculation. Now, with that being said, the NFL would be insane to allow the Buffalo Bills to relocate to Austin, Texas. First of all, I don't know if Jerry Jones would be okay with that. Jerry Jones, who likes to own not just Dallas, but the entire state of Texas. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he was one of the reasons that the Oilers got pushed out of there.
Well, the Houston Texans made it into the state.
Well, they came back, but you know what I mean. It was probably, I don't know. Who knows what it was?
He's got juice.
I would bet that the TV rights for Houston are just like
the territorial rights,
just like stuck like this.
It's
like that big, and Dallas has the rest of the state.
I'm sure.
I guarantee you.
Wouldn't surprise me.
And so to add a third team to Texas.
Well, remember they talked about San Antonio as an option for a couple teams years ago. Well, that came up for the Raiders. I think that was a threat for the Vikings at one point when they were trying to leverage the new stadium. San Antonio,
LA as well.
LA for sure was absolutely floated out there. I'm not saying that it's 100% green light, but the fact that it got that far tells me that I'm sure with just a modicum of research that it could happen.
It could, but it just realigns the entire conference.
I would hate for the Bills to. That would bother me.
It would ostracize a fan base that is passionate and I think our collective sympathy, that is sports fan sympathy for Buffalo, would also join into their ire. You know what I mean? I would feel I'm a Giants fan. I mean, Buffalo is what it is. They're not a rival per se, even though they are one of the 3 New York teams. But I would.
Well, they're one New York team.
That's a good point.
Really,
That's a very good point.
Again, Buffalo getting disrespected. We don't even get the most basic statement right. There's one New York team, and it's them.
Well, I mean, historically, we kind of were.
No, I know. The
Giants were.
I've done that too. I've made that mistake too. Or I've said it that way too.
We are a Jersey team.
That's it. 2 Jersey teams.
His team, the Jets, are literally 5 minutes from my house in New Jersey.
I know.
So, you know what I mean? This northeast, of course, New York. Let's call it New York, New Jersey. Let's call it New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. The 3 states. The Bills are one of them. And as a Giants fan, I would feel horrendous for that fan base because they're there. They're crazy. They're insane.
They're great fans.
And they're starting to get rewarded.
Yep.
To just bounce on them.
It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
This seems, I'm with you.
I think the NFL would be insane to let it happen.
Yeah. The reason you pick up and move is if you just have, an untenable, and, financially maybe it becomes untenable if the taxpayers don't want to pick it up, and I wouldn't want to.
No.
And the Pagulas don't. I mean, that's certainly something
here's the thing. If they put it to referendum, what do you think the taxpayers would say?
That's a good question because they love their team so much.
Yeah.
I don't know what it would actually come from. I don't know what kind of dent would have put in their pockets. I can't speak for other people's money outside of just theories, and I don't know. I know where you're going with that. Like if you're asking me, and I think you are, like, would the Bills fans say, yes, I'll pay a little bit more for a sweet stadium to keep my beloved Bills, or no, I'll save X amount a year, probably hundreds, not even thousands, and to lose them, they're going for choice A.
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
But I can't speak for them because it's not my money, and I don't know exactly what it would cost. So that's one issue, stadium. And the other thing is, like, if you're getting, remember when blackouts were a huge deal? That was always a Raider issue.
Yep. Tampa,
yes, correct. That's always been a big issue down there as well until recently. The Bills, they're always sold out. No matter what their record is, you would think that it sounded like, Bama, Auburn, SEC Saturday.
Right.
Like, it's just crazy.
That's right.
And it would be such a dent to the soul of the NFL. That would really rub me the wrong way, and this is coming from a team that's probably going to beat my brains in twice this season, and probably twice more next year as we get our act together.
They can claim the title in New York because I think they beat both of us last year because I think they were on the Giants.
I know they beat us.
Yeah, they beat the Jets, but whatever it is. But I agree, and I think the NFL would intervene here. Right? There's certain teams that the NFL just has to keep where they are, and this seems like one of them, even though if the money was right, I'm sure that the NFL would think twice about it, but this would feel wrong. Like when Oakland, when the Raiders left, it felt wrong, but the Raiders have been all over the place.
Yeah, it's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's kind of like, this is just cyclical. It was only a matter, you had to know it was coming. It was only a matter of time. Writing's been on the wall for a decade plus, right? You knew eventually it was going to happen. There's been no inclination that the Bills ever have wanted to leave Buffalo.
I can't quantify this because I know from when the Raptors won the championship, the NBA ratings, were not metered up there in Canada for the Nielsen ratings. But I'd have to think there's an infusion of Canadian money, whether it's sponsorship, just given proximity to the border.
Yeah.
So while we talk about downstate, and not that they wrestle with the Jets or the Giants for popularity downstate, Manhattan and 2 hours north of Manhattan, probably just south of Albany. Beyond Albany's probably much more Bills territory, and as you know, this is where you trained.
Yeah, when we went to training camp, you'd get a lot of Bills fans. It would just come down to
see some football.
But they were Bills fans.
Yeah, but up there, you start like the Syracuse, like that area, and then you've got the life at the border in Canada. I know they've got their own league up there, and it's incredibly popular, but I'm sure you're drawing some advertising, whether it's Molson. Isn't Molson beer? Isn't it made in Canada?
Well,
I'm sure they worked their way into the Bills over at some point.
I know for a fact there used to be an NFL Canada that was just across the border. I think it was Toronto, whatever city it was. I think it was Toronto. But it was to promote the NFL in Canada, and one of the biggest teams that they promoted was the Bills.
Didn't they play a couple of Thursday? Mike, didn't they play? They played a few Thursday night games. It used to be Sky Dome still at that point, before it was the Rogers Center.
I think you're right.
Bills played a couple, and what's his name? Lost the ball in the lights. It was a wide open touchdown. Yeah, they played a few Thursday night games up there in Toronto.
How the hell do you remember that?
I don't know. I probably had money on that. I'm just kidding. I just say, me, I remember all that stuff. I remember everything that means nothing.
Yeah, he
If
did.
it's important, I have no recollection.
And he dropped it, and it cost him. It cost him the over.
Actually, I think it was the reverse that night.